Hey guys, this is the latest episode of Ask Big Frank. So, this weekend didn't really go as planned. I planned to go to a bodybuilding competition. That wound up not working out. I did, however, take the kids to do some Easter egg hunt, and I think we had a lot of fun with that. The kids had a lot of fun with that, so I'm going to share that with you. But unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. So this week, Ask Big Frank, I think I'm just going to talk a little bit. Let me also say that this episode is brought to you by Muscle Gels and IronMag Labs. So, I've been getting a lot of questions, concerning the Muscle Gels and the IronMag Labs and all of that. And a lot of people they pretty much want to know, do you actually use the products? Yes, I do. I said that a couple episodes ago. If you follow me, you see that I've been very, very particular as to any products that I've spoken for pretty much since I started my career. For those who don't know, I sometimes sound like a broken record. I feel like I say it over and over, but, there still are some people who don't know. So, I was in a very bad car accident. Okay. I was laid up for about 6 years. Walkers, wheelchairs, crutches, whatever. I really couldn't do much of anything. I was told I'd never lift weights. I'd never walk right. I'd never play football. I'd never do a lot of things. One day, I was very obese, and I pretty much hit a low, and I decided, pretty much I was either going to change my life or I was going to take my life. It sounds a little morbid, but that's the way it was. That was my mindset. So in adopting that mindset, I told myself, there's no amount of pain that I could go through that is going to stop me. If you get to a low where you're like, look, I'm either going to do this or I'm out, literally out. You have nothing to lose. There's no amount of pain that can stop or slow you. You don't start thinking, well, why poor me or anything like that. It's just, I'm just going to do it. So a lot of people are like, what was your mindset like? That was my mindset. But hopefully this helps, because I share this with a lot of people. I didn't so much plan. I didn't do a ton of planning. I didn't do a ton of thinking. I didn't, I didn't overthink it. I didn't psych myself out. I didn't do what I see a lot of people doing. And I think it's a big mistake what they're doing. Some people over-focus, all right? They almost become obsessed with it. And that raises anxiety, and it really causes people to burn out. So, an analogy I use is when you wake up in the morning, you don't think about brushing your teeth, right? You just get up and you just do it. Now, brush your teeth is important for those. Really, if you don't brush your teeth, that could kill you. So, it is very, very important. So, the same thing goes for the gym. I didn't think, there was no thought process whatsoever. I just went at a certain time, and I started doing what I felt was right to do. When it was time to eat, I just ate. I didn't think about food anymore. I didn't think about burgers and pizza and wings and this and that. And that worked for a very long time. Now, once I started thinking about food, then I found some tricks to do. Taking yams and microwaving them until they're soft, beating them with a mixer, putting a packet of Splenda, pumpkin pie spice, and ground cinnamon. All right, mixing that up, putting it in the fridge. It tastes like pumpkin pie filling. Taking chicken strips, or baking chicken, I had a ton of chicken, keeping it in the fridge. When I need it, you know, cut it into strips, fry it in a pan, flip it in Frank's hot sauce, you know, dip it in Walden Farms blue cheese, tastes like chicken wings. I mean, I could make, after so many years, I could probably make anything taste like anything by now. But early on, I didn't think about things like that. I wanted to get food out of my mind. I want to get working out of my mind. I don't know how else to say it. I know it may sound a little strange, but that was almost my meditation. My meditation was, I left my brain and I just brought my body to the gym and I did what I needed to do and I got out. And it was as simple as that. And that worked for me. It's worked for a lot of other people that I've recommended it to. You know, I tell people don't focus. So, back to what I was saying. Back then, you know, I lost 145 pounds, and I entered a transformation contest, and I won. And it was great. You know, they sent me thousands of dollars worth of product, and they wanted to, you know, they were gonna, I guess back then it was a simple sponsorship, but you know, they wanted me to go, I think it was the Arnold or the Olympia, or it was something like that. So I reached out to one of the pros who was a representative for that company. I said, man, I'm so excited. I just won the transformation contest. I really want to improve. I'm thinking about competing in a few months. How do you suggest I use the products? And he said, honestly, dude, he's like, sell it. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, that's what I do with mine. He said, you know, the products are hot right now. You know, they're pretty much just garbage, but, you know, a lot of people are buying them, so I just sell them and whatever. And that put a really, really, really bad taste in my mouth, as for the whole industry. And so when I did my first show and my second show, pretty much most of my shows, I didn't use supplements. There were no supplements. Multivitamin and mineral. Okay. I used a fiber supplement. Okay. And, let me think. Coral calcium or calcium citrate. I always made sure that I had enough calcium, and that always solved the problem with my cramping. A lot of people think that that's potassium. No. I wouldn't add potassium to your diet unless you are sure that you have a potassium deficiency. What actually is happening, and see, something that happens, you know, at bodybuilding shows, you'll see a lot of people that deplete themselves, and then they drop their water, they start cramping, and you see them start taking potassium. That's pretty much the worst thing you can do, because what you're going to start doing is you're going to throw off your electrolytes, and you can stop your heart. And unfortunately, I think that's something that has happened at a few, you know, Masters National shows, or, you know, times when people have lost their life and their heart has stopped. That's one major way. So when you're backstage and you see someone, you know, they start cramping and they go to take potassium, before they take potassium, give them some sodium. Give them like some potato chips or something like that. See if that doesn't balance their electrolytes out. Chances are that's what the problem is. I tell people never to cut their sodium. There's no need to cut your sodium as long as you're doing your water manipulation and whatever. The sodium actually balances your electrolytes. So there's so much misinformation out there. It's scary. And when, you know, you get local trainers that are playing around with clients, who, I'm sorry, but a lot of them just have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They may think that they know what they're doing, but they really don't at all. And it's scary because they're literally taking people's lives into their own hands. So, back to my story. He told me to sell the supplements, and then I saw like Bigger, Faster, Stronger, and it was scary. was very, very scary, what was out there. And I learned what the truth was. I learned what the lies were. And I pretty much, for a long time, I was telling everyone, you know, stay away from supplements. They're all garbage. And then I had my head injury as an officer. A lot of people know that. And this was after I turned pro and after I did 2 pro shows. I had a very serious head injury as an officer. And then it was like, I got to go through this again. You know, I gave up for a little while. I was in constant pain, throwing up, balance issues. There were problems at times I couldn't see. I lost hearing in my one ear. It was horrible. And once again, I took that anger and that why me, and I started to build myself back. I wanted nothing to do with the industry. I wanted nothing to do with social media. I was just doing it for me. I was doing it for me, and I was doing it for my children. Because I didn't want my children to be with, you know, to walk into school with the dad who, you know, has a brain injury and you know, is just out of it and obese and just, you know. So I learned to hide a lot. I tell people all the time I smile through pain. So I'm smiling right now. So I started to bring myself back. And that was when I got the email from Rich Piana asking me to share my story. And I did share my story. And that's when he asked me if I would, you know, honor him, really, and join the 5% team. Now, I'm thinking to myself, honor him? You know, he wants me. It was almost surreal. But he believed that, you know, I should be something more than I was in the fitness industry. He believed that, you know, my transformation was something that he had never seen so extreme before, and he wanted to know why he hadn't heard of me and why no one knew my story and whatever. And I'm gonna say, I never, as bad as this sounds, I never felt good enough. I had an opportunity with the WWE in 2003 that, you know, I let go, and I never felt good enough. I passed up on a lot of opportunities. So, you can hear the kids screaming outside, but I passed up on a lot of opportunities, and it took me a long time to accept or feel that I was good enough. Rich definitely helped me with that, and that's something that, you know, God bless his soul, I will carry with me forever. He forced me, he told me to believe in yourself. You know, you have done more than you believe that you have. You have the power to impact other people's lives. He did a lot for me, and in helping me to believe in myself. And for that, I will be forever grateful to him. So, you know, I told him how I felt about supplements, and, you know, he was kind of like, well, did you ever watch my videos? He's like, you know, I was signed with a company, but yet I'm putting out videos saying that it's, you know, just pretty much stay away from those type of supplements. So he said that's why he had come out with his line. He assured me that, you know, it was all reputable products and whatever. And, you know, when we had these discussions, he also told me about some of the other companies that, you know, he trusted and he did believe in. Some of them he actually used. And even when I was with Rich and 5%, you know, I would, you know, follow these companies and follow these guys who ran these companies. And, you know, one of the people that Rich had a good relationship was Rob over at IronMag Labs. And, you know, obviously Christian, Rich had introduced me to at last year's Arnold. Now, there were a lot of people that had seen me that had never seen me before. And, you know, a lot of people tell me this is a common thing that I hear, is that I'm bigger in person than I am in pictures. So, you know, a lot of times people get a little shocked when they see me because they're used to seeing me on, you know, in pictures, and then they meet me and they're like, wow, you really are real. I don't know what people think I do, but apparently, you know, the consensus is that I'm bigger than I look, you know, in pictures. So I guess that's a positive. But so there were a lot of people that wanted to talk to me, and Rich said, you definitely want to talk to Christian. He's a good guy. You know, Rich really did have a lot of respect for him. And actually, so did Chanel. So when Christian came over, you know, he did me the honor of sharing my story. And then also, you know, I won the title of, you know, King of the Freaks last year at the Arnold by Ben Tater. And then this year again, he honored me again. So 2 years in a row. So, you know, that's kind of cool too, to come completely out of nowhere and win a title like that. You know, 2 years in a row. Now, you have to understand, in my head, I'm not this. You know, I'm not a, you know, over 300, I'm not a 360 pound, you know, bodybuilder. I'm just me. You know, I'm that guy that went through a lot and rebuilt and stepped on stage and did what people told me I couldn't do. And I'm the guy who, you know, took an interest in arm wrestling and, you know, wanted to try it. Everyone, again, told me a bodybuilder couldn't do that. I proved them wrong with that as well. Sparking, you know, a lot of people who had an interest in arm wrestling that believed that a bodybuilder or a strongman or a powerlifter wouldn't do well at it, that followed my lead and are now, one of which just won the super heavyweights, in a tournament. So I do my best to inspire people, and I do my best to educate people. So when Rich told me there are reputable companies out there, I followed them. And, you know, when Rich passed and 5% had made some changes, and it was time for me to, you know, move on, because I do have a lot going on. You know, with movie offers and TV show offers and different things. I wanted to be with a company that, would back that would enjoy backing all of that. And at the Arnold, I got quite a few offers, you know, some more offers after the Arnold. And then IronMag Labs, you know, the company that allowed me to be doing this show, they really took to me at the Arnold. They enjoyed working with me. They saw the passion. They saw I actually used the products and actually enjoy the product. And they saw the change that I got from the products. I think that's the most important thing, is that when I was talking to people at the Arnold, I could speak from experience. I can show my pictures and show that I've, you know, increased size and gotten harder and gotten leaner. And the only change has been the products from IronMag Labs and from Muscle Gel. So, you know, people ask what my two favorites are. Now, I put my whole stack online, but, you know, the DMZ 5.0 and the Andrew Hard are just absolutely incredible. And, you know, I definitely do the cycle support because you want to stay safe. Now, there are other additions that I use, but, you know, people that, you know, maybe, you know, a little tough on money or whatever, those are the two that I love. And I begged them. I was like, guys, please, you know, at 5%, you know, we didn't have codes or discounts or whatever. And I would always have, so many others do, you know, people would always ask me, you know, do you have a discount code? Do you have something like that? So they gave me Big Frank 15. So, you know, people who follow me that want to try the products, they get 15% off. And the nice thing is, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, my show, I always said, wouldn't be geared towards selling a product or anything like that. And I'm trying to not let that be what I'm talking about today, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to use this platform to make it seem like I've lost integrity and I'm just trying to push a product. I'm just being honest with you. There are other companies that I like very much, you know, and I think they put out great products. They know who they are. You know, I talk to them, you know, all the time, and you'll see me post on their pages and go to their lives and you know, I have an excellent relationship with them. And that's one thing that's very important to me, is that no matter where I ever am, in this industry. Now that I've come back, I disappeared for a long time. Now that I've come back, I make it very clear. I will never be one-sided. I will never say, this is where I am, everything else is shit. You know, don't talk to me, don't have anything to do with me, I'm not going to ever go on your page, I'm not going to support you. That'll never be me. There's new companies that are coming up that a lot of my 5% brothers and sisters went to that are good. There's an existing one that took a bunch of 5%ers. I could not tell you how much I respect him, that owner, for what he's doing, and his products are absolutely fantastic. So there's a lot out there. I will never be one-sided and not support friends and family that are out in the industry. That being said, I will always support the sport, the industry. I love the IFBB. I love the NPC. All right. A lot of people think that I don't, you know, because, you know, I went over and I competed with Paul Dillette when he was having his little, his you know, disagreement with the IFBB. And a lot of people don't realize this, but originally the WBFF was going to be kind of like a stepping stone for people who got IFBB cards. So it was going to be like NPC, then you could go make a name for yourself in the WBFF, and then, you know, step up to the IFBB. And, you know, Paul had his disagreements, and you know, all of that is long in the past and a bunch of drama that I don't even drum up or whatever. But because I competed with Paul asked me to compete in my last show in the NPC. You know, I took second to Ben White, who looked fantastic, and not to drum up any strange feelings or whatever, but I took second to Ben White. I was very excited to go to the Nationals. I was very excited. I wanted to turn pro. I wanted my AFBB pro card. That's, of course, what everybody wants. And I actually beat, in that show, Shiloh Steinmetz, who wound up, you know, getting his pro card, I believe, at the Team Universe. But, you know, after the show, I took second. I was told it was by 1 point, which, you know, that's pretty awesome. He turned pro a couple weeks later, and he had already won a string of shows leading up to this show. So, you know, all good. I felt good. I felt good about the way I looked. I felt good about everything. When I had asked one of the judges what I could do to improve, and they told me to get shorter, you know, that stung. You never want to be given advice to change something that cannot be changed. All right, being told to get shorter is not a constructive criticism. It's kind of a shot. So, being hurt from that, when I had come home, Paul Dillette, who he was one of the best IFBB pros of all time, especially during the 90s. He had contacted me. He was getting a lot of guys ready for this new WBFF that was going to be like, you know, kind of like a way to get your name set, because a lot of people get IFBB pro cards, but they never really get a chance, because all of a sudden they're thrown into a pro show against, you know, Dexter Jackson and the best. So when I heard what he was saying, it sounded awesome. Like, it was like, all right, well, yeah, I want to compete with you, because he said he liked my height. All right. So, I thought if I could get a pro card with them, because it was to my understanding that you could either get a pro card from NPC or WBFF, and then, you know, you could start in the WBFF and then move, and things wound up changing, and it turned out that wasn't what wound up happening. But I did 2 pro shows with that. I did wind up winning my pro show, probably in my best condition ever. And then, you know, I did 2 pro shows after that. But anyways, a lot of people believe that I may have something against the the IFBB or the NPC just because I went over and competed, and absolutely not. And I think we're in an age now, and the NPC and the IFBB actually put this out in writing. The day that Jim Mannion put this out, I thought it was the coolest thing on earth. It made me just like, I was like, yes! And I wrote so many people and told them. I was so excited because he had put out that, you know, NPC athletes could really compete anywhere without anything being held against them. And I thought that was fantastic. And he also put out a memo that IFBB pros could take part in other shows. They couldn't compete because, you know, once you're a pro, and I understand that completely, but they could go to other expos and do things like that. So I really had a ton of respect for him, for Jim Mannion, for doing that. I think it was absolutely amazing. So I guess my thing is these days, I don't care where, you know, where I compete. I don't care where you compete. I care that we all, like Rich Piana would say, we're all in this together. We all are after the same thing, and that is to grow this industry. And I support it as a whole. We all do the dieting. We all do the training. We all put everything that we have into it. There's not one fit for every single person. And that's why I will always support, like when there's local shows, whether it's, you know, whether it's a natural show or an NPC show, or, you know, sometimes I'll go to a WBFF show or even a UFE show. I'll go to whatever, because they all have like their little niche, their little thing that's really cool to go and watch. And I love that. I love going to a show that's entertaining. I think that's fantastic. So, you know, whether it be, you know, the supplements that are in the industry, or whether it be the shows that are in the industry, you will always see me supporting it as a whole. I just really, really believe in that. And, you know, I hope other people do the same. And I know this is getting long-winded and I had so much to say, but I wanted to say this also only because there's been a lot of shows that, you know, have come up and you know, people talking and whatever. I'm going to say judging a show has got to be the most difficult thing that anyone can do. And the reason for that is, after a show, the flack that they take is just unreal. They are scrutinized for everything that they do, for every decision that they make. And it's just, it's too much. My advice, and I've always said this, it doesn't matter what organization you're in. Think about what you want to do before you do a show. Are you competitive and you want a trophy? Or do you want to get the best pictures you ever had? Do you want your family to go and feel like you're like a rock star on stage? You know, there's different reasons for why people want to step out. Excuse me, for why people want to step on stage and why people want to compete. I would say, figure out what that reason is for competing and keep that in your mind. It's a subjective sport. Okay, you're very, 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 a lot of people won't call it a sport. A lot of people call it an art. But regardless, you want to go in with the mindset that you are going to beat you. You're going to look the best that you can look. And this doesn't matter what organization you're in. Okay? Compete for you. Be the best you that you can be. If the judges don't place you where you see yourself, don't bash them online. Because when you do that, now you're setting a negative tone, and nobody wants a negative tone in their organization. I'd hate to say, you know, then politics or whatever word people want to use come into play. All I'm saying is, if you bash judges at one show, and those same judges have to judge you at a show where there's 50, 60 people, are they going to look at you first? Probably not. I mean, that's the problem with the human element in this sport is, I understand you get upset. I understand you get disappointed. All right. That's a human reaction. All right. It's a human emotion. So I get it. just try to think before you say something. And, you know, if you have a friend or family member who competed, don't start writing, oh, you got boned, oh, those judges suck. Don't do that, because what you're doing is you're setting a negative. You're taking away the positive of what they did for themselves. Now, I understand that you are looking out for them, okay? But you're kind of taking the positive away and you're making it a full negative. And you don't want to make it a full negative because they put in so much work. They put in 12, 16, 20 weeks of training. Don't say, oh, it sucks. Oh, you got boned, you got screwed, because now it's like all that work, all this in their head is negative. Instead, say, I've never seen you look better. You look amazing. You look fantastic. You know, congratulations. Celebrate what they did, not what numbers on the trophy, because I have a room full of trophies I don't even look at. What I have are memories, and whether it was a good memory or whether it was a bad memory. All right, so I'll say that as well. I went off a little bit today. I just wanted to kind of get out there. I rambled today. This week is not the week that I wanted. I wanted to bring you to a show and do some fun stuff, but you know, it wound up not working the way I hoped. But I figured I'd get some things off of my mind that I don't have the time to do, like on Instagram when I only have a minute. I wanted to let people know there are supplement companies out there that you can trust. When you support the industry as a whole, not just one organization. Try to support everybody, because we're all basically kind of doing the same thing. When you do compete, don't make it a negative. If things don't go your way, if they do go your way, that's awesome. You know, turn to the person that it didn't go well for and say, holy hell, man, you looked awesome. You look great. If it didn't go your way, stay positive and compare you to you. Don't start pulling up pictures of someone else saying, oh, well, in this one selected picture, I look better than this person, so I should have won. That doesn't help anyone. No judge is going to be out there to screw you. All right? It's their opinion. That's the tough part about this sport that people have to kind of get into their head is, you know, you may have won in your head, and that's awesome. You know, keep that in your mind. People, one thing I notice that people do, whenever people put up competition pictures, you always get that person that's like, oh, I couldn't go. Where'd you place? I think most people will agree. If that person didn't say, I took first, don't ask that question, because they don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about where they placed. So what I tell people to do is when people ask that question, answer them with, I did awesome. I did better than I thought I could do. I did better than I did last time. I looked incredible. So that kind of tells me if they keep going and keep asking what they're placing, and then they're kind of, you know, they're not getting it. But stay positive. What's going on?
We're going to the Easter egg.
Yeah, you excited?
Yeah. Bye.
All right, go.
Still try to get as many as you can. You want to see? Yeah.
How much did you get? I got 3. That's how you Easter.
What?
That's how you Easter egg the run.
That's how you do it. Hey. Hey. Good job.